Hi, this is Jack Downs. I'm here to talk to you about our two types of video cameras that we use in this class. First of all, I want to talk to you about the old style cameras. These are the Sony cameras, and these are in kits A, B, and C. Kit A you probably won't have access to in the cage, so you'll probably only be talking about kits B and C. By the way, these cameras are equally as good, so it's just they operate a little bit differently. These are the Sonys. Let me show you the Sony camera. Here it is now. All right, this one is from kit C, as you can see on it. It says kit C. It has a battery in it right now. There's the battery. It is not turned on right now. Key things to remember about these cameras are the. Let me get this in the picture. There. Okay. So there's a little slider here for the mic and headphones. The door that we close up, and there's a little slider here where the USB goes in. So you find the USB cable spot right there. These cameras won't come with the batteries in them. Make sure when you get the kit you get a battery also. The battery should be on a charger and this should be fully charged. The other things to remember about this camera is that you open the view screen and you turn it on, this little slider right here. I'm going to turn it to on, and when you do, the view screen comes on. I'll show you more about the view screen in just a moment and how it works. So those are the old style cameras. Kits A, B, and C. For you, it's probably kits B and C. I'll put that down. Oh, by the way, on the old style cameras, the shoe for the tripod stays attached and should fit right into the tripod fine. It looks a little bit odd. It's been cut to fit, but don't worry about that. Okay, so these are the new style cameras. Okay, this is the Canon. Canon cameras are new. They're slightly smaller than the other cameras. These cameras, one thing that's different is that we keep them on auto. All right. To put the mic jack, there's no little door. It's right here in the front. Okay. Headphone jack is actually inside the little door that you get to when you open up the view screen. Both these cameras have viewfinders, which you probably won't use. The power button is in a little button you depress on the side. Turn it on. And there the screen comes up. Most other features on both these cameras you actually use for the screen. However, on this camera, to record, here's the record button right here on the back. The only other thing is that these cameras, again, the mount is attached for the tripod. The battery, in these cases, the battery should already be in it. The cameras are supposed to be plugged in the cage to keep them charged up. And we'll look at the view screen in a minute so you can tell whether the battery is charged. If it's not charged, you need to get a different camera or ask for a charged battery and then to put it in. Unfortunately, to put the battery in, you have to unscrew, and then reattach this camera foot. In the case of both cameras, if you ever have for some reason to take the tripod foot, if you ever have some case to take it out, the attachment that hooks to the tripod, please right afterwards put it back on the camera so we don't lose it, so we don't lose these guys. In this camera's case, one of these buttons in particular, inside the little door where the view screen is important. In addition to the fact that inside there you have your where you hook your USB, and inside there is where you hook your headphones in. So I'll show you the screen now in a minute also. Okay, now we're looking at the view screen of the old camera, the Sony camera. And what you can see is the proper settings that you would expect to see. If these settings are not showing here appropriately, there should be directions in your bag, and I will give you all copies of them also, that can explain how you go through the menus to change the settings. There is no auto mode that we use for this camera. We need to have the settings chosen. So what are they anyway? Well, you can see that the sound, there it is right there, is 2-channel. That's correct. That's what we want. Other things that are being displayed, not a setting so much as the battery. Right there, a full battery is more than 300 minutes. This is the large battery. There's a large and small battery available. Plenty of time for any project you're going to do for class. We can also see that it's in standby mode, right there, standby mode. That means that at this point the camera is ready to record, SDSP resolution and speed settings. That's correct. That's what we want. Standard definition, slow play. We can see that this camera is using its hard drive. There's the hard drive symbol, as opposed to an accessory card. It's using the hard drive, which means you're going to have to plug the camera into the computer to get the images off. And we can also see there's a lot of time, recording time on that hard drive. In 1,312 minutes left to record, so it's essentially a blank hard drive. Those are the main settings, things that you would expect to see. So one nice thing about these cameras is that they have a start-stop button right on the viewfinder, or of course you can use the one on the other side of the camera. You can get to zoom right here. Let me show you how it works. If I push on telephoto, do that again. You see I zoom and the telephoto indicator comes up, but again we would prefer that you leave this on wide and zoom with your feet. Also, the home button is how you would access many of those menus, here or here, the home button. This is a touchscreen, and I'll show you in a minute how you might use it. But we can use the trigger to start recording. I'll start recording right now. And when I do record, you see the record button comes on, but the other thing is, of course, the time starts to run off, so I can see how long my shot is, right? And this is a shot. I am recording. See, that is a shot I am recording. Okay, I want to stop. I can push stop again, right here. I'm back on standby. Let's say I want to check that recording out and see how I did. Well, if I go on the screen, I can push this little button to access things that I've recorded. And actually, there's two things I've recorded, right? And I can look at one of them. This is the second one, I believe. I can click on it, push on it with my finger, and look at it. And there it is. I could delete it here. In fact, I could reformat the drive and delete everything. But chances are you're going to be deleting and looking at things actually on the computer. So you're going to plug this in with the instructions that you have with the camera kit in the documentation that's there. It'll explain that you have to have the camera turned off, plug in the USB. I already showed you where the USB port is. I guess that's about it for this camera. Oh, okay, of course you want to go back to the camera. There's the camera again, and it's ready to shoot again. And I could go ahead and shoot at any time. Remember, the headphones, I showed you where the headphone port goes in. Make sure to wear your headphones. Okay, this is the view screen of the Canon, the new cameras. Similar sorts of things here. First of all, remember I mentioned to put it on auto. And the auto function is over on this side of the camera. Turn it towards you a little. See, it's on auto, not manual, not cinema. Those are interesting settings. In cinema in particular, you could do lots of interesting things. There is a manual online and on Moodle that you can read more about it if you wish. But in general, keep it on auto. Okay, so what this screen shows us is that it is ready to begin. It is green. It could have access to headphones, so you can use headphones. It tells us the battery and the capacity that's left. There's almost 300 minutes of battery time left, and there's a huge amount of room for recording. And this is just recording using the hard drive, which is what it's set to. In this SP mode, we could add chips to this, drives that you could record even more on. So on the hard drive, there's a huge amount that you could record. Don't worry about anything else. One interesting thing is that unlike the other camera, there is not a start-stop button here. So I'm gonna actually record using the button on the camera. And now we have the red dot, and it's recording. And you can see the time is passing by, so I can see how long this shot has happened. It is rolling. And push it again. It's stopped. It's told me that I've taken one. Now, how would I go see that, or for that matter, delete it? Unlike the other cameras, you need to do the deleting of files from the camera with the Canons. When you plug in these Canons with the USB drive, you're going to be able to copy your files off, take them to use them, but you're not going to be able to delete them there. So, to access those features, I'll turn the camera. In the area that's revealed when you open up the view screen is the camera to play button right here. So I'm going to push that. What happens is I now get a little display, a display of the things I've shot lately. I could click on it and look at it. I could edit it, which is what I would want to do if I want to delete. I could delete. I can delete all scenes, and that would mean all clips. Scenes, they mean clips. So I could delete them all, and I could say yes, and then it's going to delete. Okay, and then say OK. And if I want to go back to the camera, I'll press this button again. And there I am back at the camera. I've got no clips in there, 0, 0 now, and I'm ready to record again.